I want to again extend my own personal quota of welcome to all the participants and invitees to this year's Caribbean Investment Summit. Last night, at a cocktail reception next door, I had the opportunity to extend on behalf of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis our special delight that so many of you would come to this summit. And some of you have traveled from so far east and west to be part that we consider our country blessed to have you at this particular moment in time. That you have come out in such large numbers, developers, service providers, IMAs, representatives of the media, public and private officials, citizens, residents, is an indication that right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, as it is elsewhere in the region, we understand the importance of this particular program. I want to thank our Lady Chairperson, Shauna Lake, for so ably presiding over the program so far and for consenting to be part. Let's give her a special hand of welcome. And indeed, she is one of the active participants in the program, and we were delighted that she consented to undertake this role. Without again repeating the details of the protocol list, I must of course recognize our cabinet colleagues who are here from the federal government and from, of course, the Nevis Island administration. And in particular, I recognize the presence of our Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable Ian Patrice Liebert, and Senator Wendy Phipps with responsibility for health and other related matters. I want to recognize, of course, all representatives of the diplomatic and consular corps who are here, and to give a special recognition to Ambassador, Dame Commander of the most excellent order of the British Empire, Her Excellency Constance Mitchum. Could you stand, Lady Mitchum, as we give her a round of applause. This outstanding lady has recently been honored with this high honor, perhaps the highest honor, by Her Majesty the Queen for her service in law and in public service. She certainly deserves another round of applause. I single her out too because she is part of the lived history of our Citizenship by Investment program, in that she was part of the administration way back then, providing advice and support in the formative years of the Citizenship by Investment program. So we give her and all the colleagues then another round of applause of appreciation for their work and their service. 35 years ago, St. Kitts and Nevis embarked on a visionary part in its efforts to enlarge the economic freedom of its people. It took stock of its relative insignificance in the international geopolitical space and determined that it will mark out a niche for itself and its newly independent people by pioneering the Citizenship by Investment program. Here was the smallest independent state in the world then, conscious of the onerous challenges of nation building, bringing its ingenuity to envision how a small country could overcome the constraints of limited factors of production by inviting other nationalities to come, invest, and become citizens of our beautiful federation. It was hoped that these new citizens, who later became popularized as economic citizens, would bring their resources, particularly their wealth, their talents and diversity, to aid in the huge task of nation building. Our Constitution provides for Parliament to determine who may become citizens beyond those normally entitled to citizenship through birth, marriage, and descent. 35 years after the idea was born, others along that journey, far and near, like the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Malta, Cyprus, have adopted with various permutations an idea whose birth and intellectual producer was the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Give our small country a round of applause. 35 years ago, intellectual property rights were not vogue as they are today, and others capitalized on the intellectual work of this small, beautiful country of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are happy to have made this enduring contribution to the rest of the world and indeed to humanity. Today, our CBI program still is and has been the oldest and the best. The program has grown in significance and scale. Its contribution to both government revenue and GDP is significant in St. Kitts and Nevis and in other member states of our sub-region, for example, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, and to a lesser extent, St. Lucia. Our landscape has been transformed. Construction is a major driver of economic growth in the OECS sub-region. The build-out, for example, of the Four Seasons residences, Ramada, Park Hyatt, all owe their progress and success to the CBI program here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And other island states can point to several other successful programs within the sub-region. You may ask, how have we survived for these last 35 years? With all the ups and downs, the vicissitudes of life, the vagaries of the marketplace. And I shall say that we had the good sense to pay heed to the market and attempt to stay ahead. Of course, there was the period of difficulty just prior to the 2015 change of government. My administration had, since that dark period, strengthened our CBI program in St. Kitts and Nevis. We reformed it administratively and legislatively. We imposed the most vigorous due diligence tests and requirements. We rebuilt trust with international partners, and we held and continues to hold open and regular, frank discussions with the EU, with Canada, with the USA, and all the important stakeholder groups. We are a responsible and respected member of the international community. Our ranking in the rule of law is the best in the OECS, second in CARICOM, and we are in the top best performing countries and the rule of law index in the world. This deserves a hand of commendation. And the OEC tax transparency indicators, we are ranked as largely compliant. We are as good as they get, and we certainly are ranked as equal to the United States of America. In other words, we are a cooperative jurisdiction, and we are carrying about our responsibilities in a way with which we can be proud. What lessons have we learned over the last 35 years? There have been moments from which key lessons have been derived. These lessons and the extent to which we are able to apply them to future policies and practice relating to citizenship programs in the region and beyond hold the key to the sustainability of our successes in this industry. Over our experiences over the last 35 years, and particularly during the last 5 to 10 years, have underscored the crucial importance of building resilience across our CBI programs. In St. Kitts and Nevis, my government took significant steps to reform the program and to correct certain failures which were highlighted in the period 2014. My government was able to do this in a decisive way during the first 18 months in office, focusing on legislative and institutional changes in order to guard our treasured citizenship program. It bears repeating that we impose the most vigorous due diligence tests anywhere. We have enhanced the capacity of our CIU with the best talent and the brightest mind in a range of operational areas. We have launched a World Star Platinum Standard in 2016, and we have legislated for these changes that we have introduced. Through these specific actions, we were able to rebuild trust with our international partners and trust with you, the developers, the service providers, the international marketing agents, and the citizens of yonder land who have come back again to invest and to be part of the oldest and the best CBI program in the world. Today, as I stand here, the clear and unmistakable result of building resilience is that our program continues to attract high net worth individuals in search of a reliable and trusted brand. Proofing our programs to withstand political over-involvement and the risks of mismanagement has been an important part of my government's way of building resilience. We rely upon the technical expertise of the relevant authorities to make determination about who will be accepted and rejected to participate in the program. This has been a most effective way. The last 5 years have shown us how hurricanes and other natural disasters necessitate building another kind of resilience in respect of our CBI program. That is resilience in relation to our natural landscape, our natural landscapes and economic life. The devastation wreaked upon island states in the last 5 years has brought into focus the importance of climate resilience to our CBI program. On the one hand, the ability of our nations to absorb the shock of these disasters, which have been growing both in frequency and intensity, has proven crucial to protect investments, particularly in the real estate. On the other hand, our exposure to these natural disasters has compelled us to evolve and adapt to ensure that the economies of our island states can benefit from direct investment to recover from and guard against widespread destruction to property, life, and infrastructure. In St. Kitts and Nevis, for example, our Hurricane Relief Fund was one of our many innovations in the aftermath of hurricane, and it demonstrated the flexibility and adaptability that must become part and parcel of the resilience that is required in our CBI program. Since the fund was established in October 2017, in the aftermath of hurricanes. The proceeds have helped many of our citizens and residents to recover. Indeed, over 2,000 households have benefited from resources coming from that program. We have been able to assist our churches, our preschools, and educational sector edifices that had all been compromised and undermined as a result of the severity of the last two hurricanes. All countries that are participating in citizenship programs have prioritized and improved their due diligence as a central feature of their operations. Our programs, of course, operate within an increasingly interconnected world, and we heard that from Lescan, a global village in which foreign policy and geopolitical complexities of countries far beyond our shores invariably influence and impact upon our programs. In the context of a global trust in the areas of anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism, our regions have assumed a certain responsibility in collaboration with our international partners to ensure that our programs are not susceptible to undesirable and illicit actors. We invite all participants to do their very best to ensure only characters of high repute are invited to our program. And disregard the point which our Lady Chairperson made regarding it is an all or none effort. All of us have a role to play in ensuring the sustainability and viability of the program. The developers whose conduct will speak to the reputational risks of the country if they are not of the highest integrity. The service providers who must know their customers. The IMA agents who must be disciplined in their marketing approaches and ensure that they are consistent with the laws of the jurisdictions. All of us must partner to ensure the sustainability of our citizenship programs. Our multi-agency approach to diligence, which no doubt has become industry standard across the region, has resulted in our regional programs being highly regarded as safe and robust. A third lesson which has emerged from the experience of the last 35 years is that we cannot do it alone. That point bears repeating. And in that regard, the CEPA, the new regional agency, has been mandated to work with all programs and all institutions to ensure collaboration and harmonization of standards across our respective programs. In this regard, I want to highlight the important work of our Eastern Caribbean Central Bank in assisting us with areas of regulatory framework, and to highlight too and commend the JRCC, which is an important part of the critical support system of our citizenship investment program. The fourth and final lesson which I want to highlight, and there are many more, is that the socio-economic empowerment and the improvement in the quality of life of all of our citizens and residents should remain the lifeblood and the calling of each of our programs. Indeed, way back in 1984, what is it that St. Kitts and Nevis was attempting to do, except to create an enlargement of the space in which we are going to operate, except to create new opportunities for our people, except to ensure that given the challenges that small island states face in relation to their development agenda, we could create a new pathway for growth and development. This is a program about people, and we therefore have to try consistently to convert the inflows into our programs into real, sustained, and meaningful improvements in the lives of our people and in the overall development of our countries and the region. Our policies, our pricing strategies, and even our discourse about citizenship by investment must always emphasize the inextricable link between successful applicants to our programs and the observable actual development in and around our countries. Across our region, we see the positive impacts of our investment programs, what they do to the construction boom, what they do to job creation, what they have done to improvement in our hotel stock, our housing stock, and the sustainability of our social safety nets. These transformations, made possible by careful management of our programs, are the ultimate purpose of the CBI in our region, and it is a lesson we can hardly remind ourselves of too often. At this juncture, as we celebrate our successes and reflect upon the lessons we have learned over the last 35 years, the single most important task for our jurisdictions is to protect, consolidate, and build upon those successes. We must meet the challenges and opportunities of the next 30 years with vision and foresight of the architects of our regional industry. Even greater ingenuity, imagination, and innovation, and above all, the leadership and resolve to execute the blueprint for this industry over the coming years. After 35 years, we are called as a region to constantly innovate and lead, and we must not allow the momentum to be lost. As a region, we cannot afford to fall behind, and I'm assured by the current exploration into the use of biometric data for applicants to strengthen the security and verification features of our programs. 2, the emergence of smart tech tools like the RCBI Direct, which is being launched at this summit, I'm advised, and the vast potential it can unleash for our local developers. And thirdly, the increasing use of online technologies to provide authoritative information about our programs and investment opportunities in all our countries to people all around the world. But the innovation that is required is not just about material technology. The future of our CBI in our region requires a new wave of imagination about the products and services which we offer, the institutional infrastructure, and our distribution and sale models. We must continue to challenge current approaches and to ask ourselves, how can we extend our reach? Are there existing opportunities that are yet to be identified and explored? How can we improve and transform the industry for the same ultimate improvement of the lives of the people we serve? Finally, to pursue this vision and to execute the innovation that the next decade of the CBI requires, there is a need for our continued leadership in this global industry. As a region, we must continue to lead our agenda, set and raise industry standards, and shape the future of global migration and industry trends in the years to come. This is our mission. It is our mandate as the early movers in this industry to meet the challenges and opportunities that the next decade will bring, and to address them in a way that redounds to the benefit of our people. Some of these challenges are known to us, and importantly, some of them will feature in the discussions we'll be having during the course of this summit. The risk to our program by policy options of the OECD, the matter of the EU blacklisting, and thankfully today none of our CBI participating countries are on the blacklist, constraints and corresponding banking, and how these affect the efficiency and the efficacy of our programs. And of course, always we must bear in mind the reputational risks of these programs to our country, and most importantly, to the dignity and pride of our people. These are some of the risks that require a firm resolve from our region. Focused and coordinated leadership is needed, and we cannot shy away from this responsibility. We must continue to use lobbying and negotiations and make good use of our diplomatic offices in Europe and elsewhere to have open and frank discussions with our international partners on matters pertaining to our CBI jurisdictions. It is our duty to ensure that decision makers elsewhere fully appreciate the impact of their decisions and policies on our region and on our people. I want to thank and to commend Ernst & Young for its work in relation to the CBI program and how it had helped us to provide some argument in relation to a certain thought that is being developed in the European Union about tax evasion and linking them to CBI programs. There is absolutely no link with respect to that. Citizenship and taxation are distinct issues and concepts. And so we have to continue those arguments to provide the information to those institutions that are well-meaning, that are articulating the viewpoints that will assist our program, and we in St. Kitts and Nevis intend to collaborate. We note the contribution too of CS Global in disseminating a series of articles dealing with a number of issues that are before the EU and certain think tanks in the EU in relation to the CBI program. There's a need then for a higher degree of collaboration among all the programs within the region. We must work together. Certainly, St. Kitts and Nevis will continue to be a reliable international partner, and we will continue to work with the important stakeholders, including the USA, Canada, the EU, Interpol, the JRCC, and every meaningful entity that could assist in the strengthening the credibility and reliability of our program. And as a country, we say to the world, we will never condone wrong. Never will we become a haven for illicit actors. We want persons, not just of high network, but of high integrity and excellent character, to become part of the citizenry of St. Kitts and Nevis and the region. Having led the innovation of this niche industry way back in 1984, and having made significant and pioneering contributions to citizenship by investment, we have come to know it, or so we believe. Our region is uniquely and ideally positioned to lead the advances in this industry in the coming 30 years. Standing on the strength of our successes over the last 35 years, I am confident that the new wave of vision, of innovation and leadership that are emerging in the region will help carry this industry forward to a higher plateau of engagement and development for our region. In closing then, I want to thank all of you for participating in this summit. And I hope that all of us will take advantage of the vast potential that this summit provides for networking, for strengthening our friendships, acquaintances, and of course, to learn more about the citizenship by investment programs throughout our region. May God bless our region and people, and may God bless all of us. May this summit in St. Kitts in 2019 live up to your highest expectations. Thank you again. Long live the CBI programs. God bless us.